guys? Welcome back to another episode of How to Code in C# for Beginners. Today we're going to be focusing on some for loops and functions. As you guys can see, I've already made a program or a project for us. If you guys want to know how to do that, go back into the first episode, and I think it's within the first 2 minutes or so I explained how to do that, because from here on out I'm going to be starting in a either pre-made project or something I've already coded a little bit in, and we'll be going from there. Thank you guys very much for being patient with me on these uploads. These uploads are going to be every Friday and or Saturday, so it's Friday or Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's my goal here. It may be a little bit later because, I am a college student and shit happens. So without further ado, let's get into this. So I've already tried to do this, but I forgot. I was being an idiot, basically, and I messed up actually setting this up. So when you go in, you're not going to have this. So let's just go back to what you had before. Oh, Control Z, hit this, and then just delete. Alright, so your program should look a little bit something like this. Call it functions and for loops. It's going to be easier for you to remember. I wish I did this back when I was learning. So we're gonna have our classic variables, okay? So like int, let's say a string of b and a float d val. Oh, that's not one in here anymore, huh? Var for variable b. No, I won't take that anymore, huh? It's been a little while since I coded in C#, or at least just a console command. Oh my god, will you not interrupt me for once today? Let's see. And we're gonna leave it there for now. So we want to basically make a command that's gonna make it so that we don't have to write in console dot write line every time we want to write something, right? So let's just do this instead. Let's make a function. Now a function can be called multiple times in one run. At least it should be, depending on what you want to make. If you're making a video game, it's going to be called hundreds of thousands of times, possibly, or hundreds of times within one frame. That's entirely possible. Don't recommend it because you'll have about 100 different instances of that same thing and it'll kill your computer, but you could do that. What you will though do, however, is making a function like this. So you're going to want to start out with static void. What this does, especially in regular console command C#, we're going to call it do something. And bang. Oops. If I can type for once, And hit enter, so then you have that little docket. So basically what this does is it says within this function that I'm declaring, I want to do something in it. So let's say we want to write to the console. We go console dot write line, and then your message here. Bang. Oh, bang. Bang. Oops. What did I do? I hit the control in that, so we're going to do that and that. So basically, and we're going to call it up here. Do something. Okay. So basically what this does is this will, every single time I call it, it's going to say your message here. Now I'm just going to keep this open by saying console dot read line. Just control and S and you're good to go. Now I gotta check this really quick. And make sure that you put a semicolon after because you'll get destroyed without one. Oh, this is gonna be an interesting day. Okay. So now if we hit F5, your message here will appear at the very top. Now it will tell you your RAM, your memory. Don't worry about it on the right side. We're not talking about memory in this course. That's for more advanced people, if that ever does come out on this channel. So yeah, your message is going to print. Just hit enter and it will go away. Now we're going to get rid of this console.readline, and we're going to make this a little bit more complicated. So in our static void, do something. It's not asking for an argument. It's just saying you could say this and this is just going to run no matter what. Now, however, if I were to pass in B for my message, right? It's going to throw up an error saying it only takes one argument. And I'm giving it 2 right now because the first argument is nothing. It doesn't take anything. Whereas if I said string, and we could just call this message. If I were to just say, here's a message, right? It's going to pass in message, and I should actually make this equal to something. Let's just say, hello world. And it will give you an error if you don't have a value set to anything. So we're going to have it write control world, right? Control and F5 to open your window, and it says hello world. So you just wrote your first function. Congratulations. Believe it or not, that's the easy part. This is where the interesting and fun stuff comes into play. So now you can kind of start seeing the potential of this. You're saying, okay, so I have a function that says hello world. What if I could make a function that says every time this player gets hit, or if something is on the same platform, or let's just say every frame or every second, right, that this is open, I want you to count up. So that would be a while loop. That would basically be like while time open is not equal to however long you want it to be open. Let's say like 20 seconds. It isn't equal or greater than 20. Because if you just have it as 20, it does have the chance of going above 20. So let's just move on. So that's a very basic function. We are going to be delving more into functions very soon. This is the episode in which we are just teaching you basic functions like this. We can also pass in another value by putting a comma there, and we'll just say float a. And we can pass in our float value of D. Now our float can be a decimal. This is extremely important when you're working with numbers, especially if you're subtracting numbers that aren't exactly equal, or whole numbers. So for example, if you're or dividing, actually, this is a perfect example of that. So let's say you're dividing 3 by 2, right? Well, you're going to get a decimal for that. You're going to get a fraction. C#, every programming language, an integer can only be a full number. Now, I'm going to have to say this will equal 5.0f. F stands for float. You need to write that at the end so the console knows that it's a float. It'll be the same thing for a double. A double is basically exactly what it sounds like. It's a double of a float. It has that many more decimal places. A float, I believe, only goes up to 6 decimal places. So we could pass this in, and we could say 4. So this is how you want to set up your for loop. You can just type in 4 and hit tab. Let me show you guys really quick what that does. So I'm just going to go right next to my 4. I'm going to hit tab, and it makes a for loop for you. Remember this setup here. This is extremely important. This is how your for loop will work. There are more advanced for loops called for each. I'm not going to get into that right now because there's no point, because we're not doing an application with that. Once we get into Unity, I'll teach you guys more about for each loops and such, because that's about arrays, and I'll teach you guys arrays very, very soon. So we're going to say for integer of I, which is our just kind of our placeholder right now. It's going to be equal to 0 because we're instantiating it. While I is less than, we're going to say A. We want you to print out our message. And if we hit Control and F5, it's going to print it out 5 times. And there you go. Now, the very important thing to remember with programs, especially when we start going into arrays, is that it starts from 0 and goes just before that number. So it'll go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's just how computers work. So programmers will most of the time count 0 through 4 instead of 1 through 5. So be very careful when you're writing your programs when you do that. Now let's create a different function. So we'll call it static void get input. And this will just be a read line. So we'll just say, we'll pass in, we're going to create actually a variable. I'm going to say string input equals console dot read line dot try. No. Okay. Equals console equals, this will just say our input equals read line, and then we'll return. So we'll just have this say get my input, and then we're gonna run do something, and we're gonna pass input comma, we're just gonna throw in a random thing with 6.0 F, because it has to be a float. Now let's run it. Oh, guess what? We forgot to put it in our call. So I'm actually going to say, I'm going to comment our original thing out. I'm going to say get input. Alright. Now we're cooking with Crisco. Get debt. I am in debt. Get input. And if we hit Control and F5, we're just going to write in a message. So we'll just say hello. And I'll write my thing 6 times. So let's do this. Let's make this a little bit more complicated. So after we say get input, we're going to say if, you know, this is going to be your assignment actually, because you know enough. Make a chatbot. Make a very simple chatbot. I can start you off here. So we have these commands of getting an input and writing a line. You are going to say, we're going to write another function here in a second. We're going to say, bot says hello and asks how you are. That's your assignment, and next episode I'll show you guys how I did it in one of my older assignments. So thank you guys very much for watching. That is very simple of how to set up a for loop, which is right here. This is a very simple for loop, and this is a very simple of a get input function. Okay guys, so thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys another day. Hopefully not again tonight at 11:50, because that's when I'm not wrapping up and I have a very long day tomorrow. So thank you guys very much for watching, and as always, please like, comment, subscribe, and tell me what video series you guys would like to see soon, because this I can't see being more than another 10 episodes. I really can't. Have a nice night, guys. Get some sleep if you're a college student. Trust me, sleep is very nice. It's let's say this at this point, it's a freaking currency. I mean, you could buy people's trust with sleep, the promise of sleep. So get some sleep, rest up. If you have an exam tomorrow, good luck with your exam. If you have coding homework that you still haven't finished, get cracking, my friend. If you have homework that you haven't finished, just crack on it. All right? Have a great night. Enjoy your sleep. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your breakfast. Enjoy your meals. See you later.